Hi everybody, it's Oksana. Today I'm going to show you how to make this wire wrapped tumbled stone. So the gemstone in here is just a tumbled little stone. I know there's a big cage going on in the back, but maybe you can see through it. It's not flat on the back. It's not a cabochon. Actually kind of comes to a point here on the back. But it does have this, one flat side that I used as the front. And if you want to see how to make this wire wrapped tumbled gemstone pendant, then just keep watching. So this is my tumbled stone. It's different from a cabochon, as you can see, because it's kind of a regular shaped. It's not like flat on the bottom, dobed on top. It's like a little triangle this way. And it's quite thick too at this point here, especially. So the first thing is you just have to figure out how to wrap your stone, like which side you prefer to be showing, stuff like that. Which way do you want it to be facing? So I think I want mine to go like this. But I actually wrap tumbled stones the same way that I wrap cabochons, in that I build a frame around them and I secure them in the back. The only difference is they tend to be thicker, and when securing it on the back, sometimes your wires kind of go up, like they'll go up over this bump, so it'll look slightly different. But anyways, I decided that 4 wires would be good enough, would be enough wires, thick enough for this particular stone. And these are 20 gauge dead soft raw copper wires. I'm using raw copper because I'm going to oxidize them. This is probably about 10 inches. Basically you want it to, be long enough so it goes over your entire stone and you still have some length up top to make your bail. So I usually just get a nice long length, and I'm leaving some room here, like 2 inches of room. That'll be, for my bail on this side. And then I'm separating my 4 wires and I'm just going to weave around them. You can use 26 or 28 gauge weaving wire. This wire is from Monster Slayer. This 26 gauge, also round dead soft copper. So the first thing I like to do is I like to put my wire through and just kind of do almost like a one wrap around just the bottom wire to start. But that's not part of the pattern. The pattern that I'm going to be doing for this is just going to be 2 2 2. It's just a very, very simple pattern that involves wrapping twice around the bottom 2 wires, like I just did that. And then I'm going up and I'm coming in here underneath the top wire and I'm wrapping twice around the middle 2 wires like this. And I'm leaving my wraps a little loose so you can see them better, but then I am going to tighten them so it looks nice and neat. And then twice around the top. And now you're coming back down, so twice around the middle 2, twice around the bottom 2, and then again middle top, middle bottom, middle top, middle bottom, and just kind of goes up like this. So you do want to keep it nice and tight. You can use your pliers if you need to help yourself get this more neat looking. But basically this is what the pattern looks like, and the length that you want is enough so that you can bend it and shape it around your stone to create a little frame. So I decided I like this side here because it has this pretty, I don't know if you can see it, has like the shine to it. You can kind of see it this way. So I think I'm going to have it go like this. So the frame is going to go around here, and it's going to be slightly smaller than this so that the stone can't pop through it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep wrapping until I start getting close enough to where I think it will go around the whole stone, and then I'll stop and I'll bend it and check for that. So once you think you're getting long enough, just take your stone, the side that you decided is going to be your front, And I like to start not right at the tippy top of it, but just a little bit below, so this way I know that the frame, you know, will be a little smaller than the actual stone. And I'm sorry this is hard to show on camera because I have to hold it really tight as I bend the frame around it. It's harder to do with tumbled stones, but with cabochons you can kind of lay them down on a flat surface. You can't really do that too much with a tumbled stone since the back usually is not flat. Okay, so here's my frame, and if I make it tight enough, my stone won't pop out. I have a little bit too much weave going on right here on the side, so I need to undo that a little bit. All right. So I think that should be good. Yeah. All right, so that's better now. And there's different ways that you can do the top portion. I have a cabochon video where I just kind of wrapped one of the wires around it. And then I think in another video I just started weaving, like I just took like these two wires and just started weaving around them to make the bail and close it up. So what I'm going to do now, so I'm just crisscrossing the very front wires so that I can close this frame. And it's important to keep it very tight, and it's important to try and push the stone to make sure that it will not pop out, that your frame is small enough to keep your stone secure in there. And then I'm just bringing them to the back and kind of crossing them on the back also. I'll show you in 1 second. I just want to make sure that it's good from the front. All right, so it's good from the front. Here's my back. I will cut this little tail and everything. So here on the back, I have these two wires now, and I'm going to use them to secure the stone in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my weaving wire. I did cut it. I left myself a nice long length of it, but I did cut it a little bit so that I can like put it through, and I'll pull it through the little holes here. So what I'm going to do is take my weaving wire. I'm just trying to figure out like a good spot, like if it's closer to this or this wire. I think I'm just going to go on this one here. It doesn't really matter where you go or where you start. So I'm just going to wrap around it, and you can do nice tight loops, but I'm going to do these really loose ones because if you've seen my other videos, you know I really like to do this because it's just so much quicker. So I'm doing this until I get roughly to the middle. This looks kind of like the middle to me. That's good enough. So I'm taking the end of my wire here and I'm putting it through. See, there are little gaps. So if you're using a weave that has virtually no gaps, this might be difficult for you to do. I'm going to pop my stone out for a minute and pull that through. I use my pliers because I'm having a hard time grabbing that little end. So you want to do this maybe 2 times. So that was once. And then one more time here. And just to make sure it's attached nicely. I'm going to pull that through. So I'm going to pop my stone back in because especially with these tumbled stones, the back matters a little bit more. With the cabochons, it's just a nice flat back, but with these, you gotta make sure that your wires are gonna hold the back. So by bending it like this, I think that will work well to hold the back. It's long enough. So now I am just going this way. Attach it right over here this little corner here. So that was once. Now I'm going to try and get it through one more time. There we go. Let me grab that little end. All right. I'm going to adjust my stone, make sure it's still good from the front. I'm going to take this side here, raise it up like this. I'm going to take this little end here. I'm going to just wrap a few coils, just like that. And then I'm grabbing this little end here, and I'm making a little loop. I'm going to leave it just a little open. I'll close it in a minute. It just makes it slightly easier. So for this wire here, it's going to go this way. It's basically going to be like the same exact thing. And then this way. And it's also going to have like a little curl here that I'll make. So I'm just going to wrap a few times to connect these two wires. That's why I left this little loop open, so that I can get in there for this. Now I can close it. Now I'm putting my wire through here. You can attach if you feel like you need to, or you can just not attach it in this spot. I mean, it's really close to right here, so it kind of depends on your stone too. You kind of have to play it by ear and see how your stone is shaped and where it needs, you know, these wires to hold it best in the back. Since my stone kind of has this little peak, by having these, it's almost like prongs on the sides, it'll help hold it. But your stone may be different. So I'm going to raise this wire up a little bit so I can get to it easier. So at this point, you definitely want your stone to be in. Like when you just did this side, if you need to pop your stone out, that's totally fine. But now you have to have your stone in, or you're not going to be able to get it in. All right, so that's 2. Now I'm just going to do the single coils. I'm just splitting it so you can see this side better. Tangled up in here. So once you are getting kind of towards the middle, I'm just going to attach it. I'm going to attach it right here. One more time. There we go. And now, I just want going to wrap a few single times around this wire here, just to finish and secure your weaving wire. Make sure it's not going to, unravel or anything like that. And then you'll be able to just cut it off, and that'll be the end of it. Alright, so that's good. There is this long piece. I'm going to cut it and make a little loop out of it right down here next to the other loop. So what I'm going to do now, and my stone, actually I can kind of turn it a little bit if I try, because this side is still, down and it's not really holding my stone. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to get in here as well and go like this. Alright, so change of plans, because my stone is still slightly wobbly. I'm going to take this wire, I'm going to put it under here. There we go, now it's not wobbly anymore. And I'll just attach that little loop up here with the remainder of my weaving wire. So you just kind of have to play it by ear and see how your stone is shaping up and where you need to secure it and whatnot. Alrighty, so now I think I'm finally done with the back for real this time. So the stone seems very secure from the back here, and here's my front. I got my little frame around it. I'm trying to push it tight. There's no gaps, and then I like to just adjust this top portion down a little bit. There we go, like that. So here you have wires on the side. There is 1, 2, 3 wires. So these are the back two. These are the back two. And these are the front two, I guess, is what I would call them. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do something a little different with the bail, since this pendant, I feel like, is really similar to pendants that I've done in the past in terms of securing the stone and everything. Even though it's a tumbled stone, it looks similar as any of my wrapped cabochons from the front. So I'm going to try and do something different here with the bail. So I'm getting these two wires right up next to each other, and then I'm taking my pliers and I'm holding them and I'm twisting. And this, it can be slightly difficult because sometimes the wires will twist, like one wire will wrap around another wire rather than equally twisting. So it can be a little finicky, and you just have to be kind of slow and careful at it, and maybe practice separately if you've never done it before on, just a spare wire, scrap wire. But basically, I'm just going to make this twisted wire that's going to be a little bit of a decorative piece to my bail here. Alright, so for these wires here, lining them up next to that twisted wire. Just kind of turning them a little bit so that they're not one on top of the other, and they're just next to each other, like this. So I'm going to start a new weaving wire, and I'm going to do the ladder weave. So I'm putting it here on the bottom. I have a video on this, just the weave itself. The only difference is I have this twisted wire going through the middle, which I'm ignoring. You can pull it up forward if you want, if that helps you. So just pretend it's not there. So one single loop around the bottom, wire one around the second wire from the bottom, then I'm bringing it up. I'm doing a loop around the top wire over both, over just the bottom one, bringing it, keeping it in the back, bringing it down here, doing bottom, both, top, keeping it in the back, bringing it to the other side, top, both, bottom, bringing it down, bottom, both, top, and bringing it to the other side. So let me just tighten that up a little bit. And it is important that you keep these wires on the sides of your twisty wire here, so you can see it nicely and it all lines up nice and flat. So I'm going to keep going with that weave until this is tall enough for me to be able to bend it into the bail. Alright, so now that I'm done, I'm going to leave this for now, and then I'll just cut it later. I don't have my wire cutters here with me, but I'm going to pull this forward, and I'm going to bend this in the shape of my bail. If you have round nose pliers or like bail making pliers, you can use those to help you get that curve, that curved shape. And that's pretty much my bail. I'm just gonna bring this in a little more. All that's left now is to finish off these wires. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna grab my wire cutters so that I can go ahead and finish all of these. But here's what it looks like from the front. So I'm gonna cut all my little ends of wires here, and I'm going to take a look at where I can kind of hide and attach all these wires. So this wire here could attach to this little corner, so I'm going to cut it to give myself just a little bit of room to attach it. And I'm taking my round nose pliers and I'm curling them like so, and getting that wire underneath, and then I'm grabbing that little end and I'm closing that loop up, and like that. So that's pretty much the case for all of them. Just find a good spot, a good area to attach. Just trying to get like this crisscross thing going on the back here. Usually I tuck away most of my wires kind of like under the bail, but I was just trying to follow this little crisscross pattern I had going on. Alright, so I think that's good. Let me think. 2 more wires. And this one I'm just going to do right here. This will also help the back be secure as well. Now you have a really big cage going on here on the back. Alright, so now the back looks like it's a really intense gauge here, but it's really secure. So here's what it looks like from the front. I have not oxidized the copper yet, but I do have a video on how to do that because I do plan to do that for this pendant. So here's what it looks like.